They called it a routine arrest, but the street cameras told another story. His friend's last breath came in a chokehold so precise it could only have been taught in classified training. The cops didn't know, but he remembered, and tonight, vengeance walks. It was 10:42 p.m. when Marcus Griffin Cole's phone buzzed. A friend, Malik Cortez, was in trouble downtown. They're roughing him up, the text read. That was unusual. Malik was soft-spoken, always careful. Griffin's instinct screamed trouble. He grabbed a jacket, dropped everything, and raced out. 10 minutes later, he arrived on Vine Street. Blue lights painted the brick walls. A crowd had gathered. He pushed forward. He saw Malik, or what was left. A police cruiser door swung. An officer stood over Malik's body. Another wiped hands. A third cuffed something invisible. Malik lay motionless, face down. The crowd gasped. Some filmed, some shouted. Griffin's world narrowed. No shock, no surprise, only clarity. He dropped his phone. He didn't need footage. He'd seen this move before. A body cam view flashed on someone's screen. The arrest before, the chokehold, the squeeze, Malik going limp. Griffin's jaw clenched. This was precise, intentional, not a slapdash police takedown. He recognized the grip, advanced combatives taught in Ghost Ops units. It wasn't standard PD training. Someone wanted Malik dead. Griffin crashed through the crowd. "What did you do to him?" he yelled. Officers turned. The crowd parted. Phones raised. Cameras tilted toward him. He took a step forward. 2 cops drew sidearms. Another stepped in front of Malik's body. "You can't be here," one ordered. Griffin said nothing. He looked down at Malik's still form. "He's gone," he whispered, voice cold as steel. And just like that, the world changed. They didn't know who he was, but the shadows did. Griffin Cole wasn't just any ex-soldier. He was a former deep operations officer. In a clandestine unit, liaison hunter, ghost, he'd walked through jungles, infiltrated regimes, dismantled terror cells, but after his final mission ended in a moral crossroads, he disappeared, vanished into anonymity. He traded combat zones for quiet life, teaching self-defense classes, helping veterans, living under a name that carried no flags. Malik had been his oldest friend from back in high school. Griffin had helped him get on his feet after the wars took too much from him. Malik was not a warrior. Malik was heart. He never asked for protection. He got it anyway. Now Malik was dead, killed in a maneuver Griffin had once instructively disarmed in his own students. The public narrative would be police arrest gone wrong. But Griffin knew the truth. This was a message, a warning, a crime staged under authority. Griffin's first move, gather proof. He didn't have to wait for courts. He had access. He used his old channels.
He hacked the patrol car's dashcam feed. Not the public-facing one, the internal loop. He pulled the untagged footage. It shows cops surrounding Malik, slamming him, grabbing him, then applying a choke with mechanical precision.
He traced the GPS logs, Malik's phone, his last coordinates. It lined up with surveillance cams a block away. The officer's shift logs matched the footage. State database entries had been altered. Someone scrubbed layers. He called in a favor from an old contact at the Department of Internal Affairs. That contact quietly flagged the case and demanded audits. No leaks, just internal pressure. He appealed to the family lawyer to freeze evidence and prevent tampering. None of this was loud. This was razor-edge preparation. 3 days later, Griffin stepped back into the streets, not to howl but to act. He located one of the officers involved, Officer Zamora, late-night patrol unit. He watched his patterns shift: times, home address, commute routes. On a rainy evening, Griffin followed Zamora home, gloved, low profile. Zamora exited his car. Griffin knocked him out cold with one hit, nerve strike to the jaw. No fair fight. Then slipped in, retrieved Zamora's duty phone, uniform logs, a body cam memory card hidden in his boot, and left before Zamora came. Zamora woke dazed, clutching nothing. The phone missing, uniform missing, memory. He called dispatch in confusion. The department scrambled. They didn't know what just happened, but Griffin did. The ripple had begun. The next night, the precinct got nervous. Rumors flew. Griffin was their ghost. They couldn't pin him. They couldn't see him until it was too late. They organized a sting at a warehouse district, an unofficial tip of illicit activity. Many officers gathered. Griffin lurked in shadows. He'd wired nerve sensors, heat probes, remote EMP jammers, tracking bugs. He didn't plan to attack publicly. He planned to expose them. He intercepted the radio chatter. Team B, go there. Team C, flank. Primary unit sweeps the east corridor. He slipped through vents, bypassed alarms. As the units lined up, he triggered EMP flashes. Lights died. Radios crackled. He moved silently, disarming weapons, isolating cops in dark hallways. He moved like memory incarnate, flash steps, decisive strikes, non-lethal takedowns. The officers, trained for riot, weren't ready for a one-man infiltration. By the time they regrouped, their weapons were gone, cameras jammed, units locked in rooms. Griffin captured the scene on hidden drones he planted earlier. He extracted audio confessions. We were told to handle him quietly. That choke was taught to us. Internal orders came from high. One officer recorded a name. Captain Ortiz. Griffin slipped out before backup arrived. The warehouse fell silent. By dawn, video was in circulation. Police tactical teams, sedated, cowering, disarmed. Griffin's footage played online. Here is what you really did to Malik. The city woke up in shock. Mayor's office, police chief, internal affairs. They launched investigations. Media swarmed. Civil rights groups demanded transparency, but the police defended themselves. Under fire, dangerous suspect. Needed to secure. Their narrative tried to flip blame onto Malik. Say he resisted arrest. But Griffin's unedited evidence shattered every assertion. The choke was shown. The initial assault was shown. Internal audio logs showed orders to control, disarm, neutralize. The plan had been calculated. Captain Ortiz put out an order for Griffin's arrest. They circulated his face, old photos, runtime reports, contracts. The public painted him a vigilante. The press called him ex-operative gone rogue. But too many saw the truth. Now Griffin was hunted. Warrants declared. Snipers on rooftops. SWAT teams. River crossings. He knew they'd try to bait him out, but his strength wasn't brute force. It was preparation, patience, discipline. He relocated his base to abandoned tunnels under the city. He hid in plain sight. Tech labs, utility ducts, silent stairwells. He moved at night, vanished by day. He prepped for the final confrontation. 3 nights later, they cornered him, using Malik's funeral as bait. The funeral chapel overflowed. The media packed the steps. Cameras aimed. Griffin walked in, quiet, composed. In the crowd, he activated a hidden tracker. He knew they'd try to take him there. High visibility, emotional leverage. As the service ended, squads flanked the street. When he exited, helicopters ripped the silence. Blue lights surrounded him. They claimed, "Stand down." They framed it, "Resist arrest." Flashbangs roared. But Griffin was ready. In his overcoat, he concealed flash capsules, concussion grenades, smoke dispensers. He triggered them. Chaos erupted, fog, light disorientation. He dashed across the crowd, shielded by confusion. He disarmed an officer, vaulted over a car hood, ducked under squad trucks, lashed a rope from scaffolding above, rappelled behind lines, dropped into a gutter passage. They pursued. But he controlled the terrain. He led them into tunnels where their flashlights flickered, comms failed, instincts faltered. He moved like echo. He struck silently. He incapacitated wave after wave. He left tags, kaput on chest plates, confiscated IDs, messages to the top. You can't hide murder with a badge. Finally, he emerged near City Hall steps. The sun was rising. Media cameras rolling. He stood tall. He held Malik's photo. He spoke clearly into the open mic. Everyone heard. This city launched a campaign to silence truth with fear. They murdered my friend. They lied. They thought ex-operative meant powerless. They were wrong. Bring me Captain Ortiz. Bring your leaders. Let them answer. Let the city see who you really serve. Within hours, Ortiz was detained under warrant. The mayor launched resignations. Internal affairs reopened dozens of cases. Prosecutors charged multiple officers with civil rights violations, murder, misconduct. The media broadcast full records, body cams, wiretaps, raid protocols. The public roared. Communities joined protests. Malik's name was chanted in streets. Social justice groups took up the cause. Justice for Malik. They killed the wrong friend. It became a turning point for police reform in that city. In a modest house on the outskirts, Griffin reappeared only once. At Malik's grave, he laid a folded photograph. He whispered, "You were heard. You were seen. We made them pay." Then he vanished again, into quiet. They killed his friend. They thought it would bury a name, but they miscalculated the man behind the name. Malik became the spark. Griffin became the reckoning. The city changed, not because of noise, but because truth was louder. When people ask who did it, they'll say unknown vigilante. But those who watch closely will know he didn't rise from darkness. He stepped out into the light, fully prepared. If this story moved you, share it. Let Malik's name live. Let truth outlive silence. Comment your best friend's name.